Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my friends. Welcome. Wednesday, pre-market here at SpartanTrading.com. Welcome to those of you who are joining us through our live YouTube stream. We open it up to the world so you can see what we do. Narrative continues. Yesterday, even though it was not meaningful on a percentage basis, it did reset a lot of these extensions that I look at. So is that, I mean, I still think, we're a little sloppy choppy until the end of, I mean, look, everybody's talking about the same thing, which concerns me. Everybody's looking for that FOMO push, the Christmas rally, right? And it statistically always happens, it seems, but you know me, a crowded room is a little bit disconcerting, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, could build instead of a draw. Fascinating. A lot of stuff coming out of Australia, which is really, look at this. Group industry construction. I mean, normally, to be honest with you, there's not that much of a differential between the forecast and the actual, and there kind of is, which means that out of Japan, the opposite, the Tenkan was higher than expected. Growth, GDP, softer. So Australia is my bellwether for the Asia Pacific Rim, right? Growth rate year over year, I don't know how this happens, but quarter over quarter versus year over year, but obviously you can see that. Capital expenditures, softer. GDP chain price index, hotter. Final consumption, hotter. So what are we looking for? Everybody has an opinion, right? And you know what my opinion is. I do not, I do not see deflation. I do not like the bonds rally because of this whole construct of recession, deflation, whatever. I think they're wrong. I want to get back to the good old days where you have, little wobbles on the bond side, up, down, whatever, but then you see Goldilocks growth, moderate growth, and then basically you see corporate growth. That's all. It's, Twins and I will pound the table over and over and over again. It's the economy, stupid. All of these bright lads and ladettes out there, lassies, basically got it so wrong last year. They got it wrong this year, okay? They will more than likely statistically get it wrong for 2024. Just saying. Now, with that said, it's still going to be sharpen your pencils because 2024 is going to be all about picking the right sectors, getting the right stocks. That simple. And since we have Spartan doing that stuff for us, and Twins, myself, we kind of have busy brains, we go from there, right? Construction, UK, gilt auction, some Bailey, more EU, 3-month bill auctions, right? Brazil gross debt to GDP. And then we have nominal budget balance, Mexico, consumer confidence, better than expected, auto exports better than expected, auto production not as good, right? And then we have, obviously, our 30-year, it's getting usurious. I mean, the spread, this is what really ticks me off, is this 30-year gap spread between 30-year rate versus the 30-year mortgage. Okay, this, if you're going to be involved as a, from the congressional side, do something constructive, why don't you? Applications, higher, market index, anyways, so you can see. Okay. Aside from that, we do have the IB PMI out of Canada, not much going on, non-farm productivity. See how that unit labor costs, we see how these come out. So for the most part, we've got an interesting construct, right? So we've got basically Friday, NFP, non-farm payments. And then we had Michigan Consumer Center. You know, a lot of stuff has already been done. The mug is getting thinner and thinner with the holidays coming up, right? Holiday coming up, right? So it's going to be interesting. Okay, what do we got? Ollie's, Lovesac, MD, MongoDB, Sentinel-1, okay. Asana. Down. So we still have some fun stuff. Thor, and then we have AI, GameStop, Chewy, this aft. So Dollar General, enough to get us, you know, kind of active, right? Don't you? I mean, I think it's fun. Any day that there's earnings, look at that Ollie, right? Lovesac, Lower God, and then KFY. We still have, in terms of growth issues, right? This is why I'm saying that next earnings cycle is going to be more and more and more important to see if we can see continued growth. Now, obviously, with the large cap, a lot of these tech names, AI, efficiency, productivity increase will directly impact the bottom line. And that's what, you know, it's all about productivity, you know, so. Bitcoin rally shows no sign of stopping while crypto keeps rising. As you well know, I shouted this out as an asset class when I bought gold. And it's not bad. And it's, I see a path forward for 2024. And I've mentioned this narrative ad nauseum. BRICS does not want to have anything to do with the US dollar. How do you get away from the US dollar? You have to basically support it with another asset class. Gold, traditionally. Cryptos, yes. And maybe crude, I don't know. We'll have to think about it. But anyways, it'll be interesting. Merck suffers major blows, MS drug fails in late stage trials. Okay, what do we got? So the dude, the libertarian dude, is kind of saying, well, maybe I have to govern from a little bit more towards reality. This is what Israel does. They don't bomb hospitals, friends. They do targeted assassinations. If you know anything about the Israeli military, they love to assassinate, especially those who they feel, Hamas and etc. You wrong them, they assassinate you. That's how it looks. Facebook and Instagram steal predators. Look, you know, I'm not a fan, okay, of Facebook and Instagram. But to be honest with you, if the parents were overseeing and controlling what their kids are doing and putting limits, guardrails on what they are able to see and do, make it a family thing so you can watch what your children are doing. I don't know, that's my, you know, poster child thing for saying that. I think Facebook and Instagram are the spawn of the devil. You know that. I think all of these social media things, no good comes from a societal point of view, but I don't know. Laughed matches $100 million donation to fight anti-Semitism. Well done. Anyways, it is very high. I mean, I've lived through a lot of this. It's just not a pleasant experience, right? U.S. gas startup at center of epic feud with global energy giants. What do we got? Is riding high. Earnings may snap the rally. Address the medicine. Winners, I don't know. 5 eye-popping electric trucks. Look, this to me is a truck. Tesla, not a truck. I'm old school all the way. I love my trucks, but I don't like the Tesla truck. up with a tap. Okay, cool. Anyways, moving along. All right, so this is the S&P 500. Now, what's notable about this is basically this is stretched 27, 26, 31, 32. I don't know if it means anything, but if it does mean anything, but don't forget, this was seasonality. Okay. So this kind of like, okay, but meh. That's all I have to say is, okay. But seriously, this is meaningless because July to October, okay, was a function of the year before presidential election and tax loss harvesting. I'm just saying, whatever. But there's a NASDAQ. So 21. Like I say, you have to understand the narrative. Okay. This is why these daily type cycles are really complicated, because this is why I prefer weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, whatever, because they're more powerful. This is okay, but still, whatever. That's all I'm saying. All right. Harvard, MIT, Penn. This is the world we live in right now here in the United States. Moral bankruptcy. So remember how I tell you that, from a moral and ethical point of view, there is a bankruptcy. Okay. I told you about, with the PPP, this gentleman I met while I was in Florida, and he's, very active in his church and stuff like that. He made millions and millions and millions of dollars off of PPP. I said, well, but morally and ethically, why did you do that? He said, because the government allowed me to. Okay. That's just greed, all that stuff. Even from, political standpoint, it's just the loudest voices in the room. Shine. Look, call for proof it doesn't use forced labor. Seriously? You're seriously asking that question? These are sweatshops 101. I'm just saying. Whatever. Home sales. Meh. Okay, primary energy consumption by source in China. Coal. Oil. Hydro, all this stuff. Biofuels, yeah. Coal. All you need to know is coal. Apple, you had to have your head under a rock yesterday. So I have to say, that was, for us, the winner chicken dinner. And right now, okay, I really don't have that much on, but I have a ton on longer dated, like ton on longer dated. Okay. And I'm going to let that go. And the reason why I want to see the premiums come in so we can do a delta trade for January. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that MLGO. Yeah. Thank you as always, Roger, for posting. Thank you about the Belt and Road Initiative out of Italy. Okay. Yeah, so that's that. Software universe meaning. Another thing, you had to be under a rock not to understand what's going on here in the software universe. Another one. I mean, really. I mean, Spartan has been shouting this out for like quite some time. All you had to do was look at IGV, right? And just from October, right? Just stunning. Right? Anyways. And I'm in cloud, CLDL, I'm in cloud names, but anyways. So see his sales growth. Okay. So this is trailing total sales, right? Not a good look, right? A lot of this is a function of overseas. Many countries are in recessions. I would say China's probably in a recession, but they won't tell us, right? Europe, UK, right? EU. So this is where we have to start really paying attention to data. And this whole data dependent is spot on. Everything we're seeing right now is a Goldilocks narrative, right? Now, if you ask Twins, where does he start to get concerned? And he'll tell you that it's unemployment, right? Non-farm payroll. We have some room, right? But I also think efficiency of sales with the AI. I just don't know how it works yet in terms of, the employment. I just don't know how it works yet because a lot of stuff is online, all the buying, Amazon, et cetera. No, we're not talking about box stores here. I don't know how that works out. I just don't. But we've had a very tight labor market, but I just don't know. Okay, don't know. Shanghai Cooperation Organization members, China, Russia, India, man, right? See how it plays out? Okay, red flag time. This is the .com bubble. And this is where we are right now. Okay, so this is XLK against the SPY. So this is one of those the targeted tech / mag 7 / the top tier 10 sort of stuff. What this is telling us, and this is not bad, okay, is that we want to see, and I've been talking this narrative, we want to see leadership in other areas. Because what's XLK? Apple, Microsoft, top 2 holdings until they rebalance, right? And then you got NVIDIA and all that stuff. So I don't think this is I love breadth. I just love breadth, okay? And I've been really cringing, and it's not just large cap, it's just basically the way it's balanced on the few versus the many. Look, this is my narrative. I don't like it, but I'm old school because breadth has always been important to me. ADP Goldilocks. Okay. I just, like I say, I mean, we want this. We want a little bit less tightness, right? And I think we get it. I just think these individuals, and I want to see a decoupling. I want to see a decoupling from the bonds and the equity. That's what I want. And I want to see a decoupling from the short list, and see the breadth. And I think we are slowly starting to see that. Well, this gets me kind of really worried because this is the lowest we've been since, what you can see right there. So retail is exuberant. Moody's, that was yesterday. Let's see, what got anything new from you, dude? He's a very young lad. Nope, nothing. All right, here's our daily affirmation. Find the most believable people possible who you disagree with and try to understand their reasoning. Once upon a time, this is the way we were. It was okay to have different opinions, but we were accepting of those opinions. We may not agree with them, but we accepted them. That's been thrown out the window for years now. Threw out like the window. And that's why our system, political system, this is why social media is so dangerous at times, because it's all about sound bites. It's okay to disagree. You don't have to get your shorts all twisted. What do we got? This is interesting. BTI, British American Tobacco. Anyways, S&P Dow futures tick up. wasn't that fun at the end of the day if you held those QQQ calls that were worthless? They were like down 99% and we sold them 25, 30%. That's fun. US faces limitation on refilling strategic. Okay. Other bank CEOs to warn Congress of Basel III endgame risks. Top 30 mutual underweight funds, underweight holdings, including Apple and Tesla. Okay, so I showed you this before, right? This under-own thing, right? Let's see what happens here. Let's see what they're saying now. Including Apple and Tesla. Top 30 mutual fund underweight holdings. Apple, Tesla, Berkshire, Microsoft. Twins is going to go gaga. He's going to swoon. NVIDIA, Lilly, J&J, XOM, AVGO, Google, Walmart. So this is what I look for. Exposure. And then you can see here, Thermo Fisher's number one. Right? It's 11 basis points, but this is 305 basis points. Anyways, winner, winner, chicken dinner. These are how I get my ideas. Nothing really going on here. There was more posting. PLSC, 4 million. Okay, but that just came out, the report. So this was HTLD, SSSSS, and Lazy Holdings. And then we've got ASA Gold, which is very unusual funds. COO. That's unusual to buy that kind of money. Just saying. And that's accumulation, right? And then we have, this is tied to options. This is tied to options, tied to options. All right. Upgrades, 2. Letter O, realty income, 46%. BLDR, builders first. That's kind of really interesting because it's at 83% from B. Riley. I don't care what the analyst firm is. I care about the analyst. It's the analyst, stupid. Okay, I'm just saying. Why buy a 1% success rate when you have a better statistical probability of being right? I'm just trying to understand. Please, downgrades. It's okay to dip your toe in the water. Do your research, do your homework. Asana got a downgrade. Hold to reduce from, that's obviously on price. Shopify on price. And then you have a 7%. How do you still have a job at Morgan Stanley with a 7% success rate? That's what I wanted. Clearly, no one is paying attention to your calls at Morgan Stanley. Plug Power. And a lot, I mean, you saw the issue with the hydrogen, right? A lot of stuff, there's a problem with that in terms of the bill. Okay. AEIS, Seaport, Scott's a 76% neutral. SDRL, watch this. This is Stifle. This is interesting. 70%. And then you have Douglas, who's gone crazy today. 44% success rate. He's all, I mean, seriously. Mr. Cooper, Loan Depot, I mean, seriously. And then Constantine, 32%, right? And then we have new people. Redburn Atlantic, don't even know about that, with Toast 4, right? Sell. New hire, I guess. eBank, BTLE. And as usual, thank you, Roger. He posts all of this stuff in terms of notability, right? Let's see what's going on here in terms of our December. Any shift? Not really. Well, yes. I mean, you can see here, we're shifting down. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6. 6 is gaining a month ago. Now it's at 28%. So it's like, seriously. Oh my goodness gracious. This is what I'm talking about. Remember how I shouted out in this year when they were all looking at the beginning of the year for these rate cuts, and I said, stupid. Right, well, I'm starting to shout this out. Because if this is the case, if this is the narrative, friends, then the stock market will be down 15%. I'm just saying, 15+%. We don't want this, seriously. Because the only way this happens is if we were in a deep recession / deflationary cycle. I'm just saying. Watch this Google. Okay, so, damn it. Okay, let me show you. So when I see this, okay, on Google, and it goes on for February, that's when I do these weekly delta trades. So I'm looking for next week right now. All right. Well, probably end of the month. All right. That's what I'm looking for. Dollar Tree. Okay. Newmont, Fortinet, broken. We'll see its earnings, right? Rio Tinto. Oh, I don't know. Platinum. We have to wait. Electronic Arts. Plain so nothing much. But obviously swooning. Now, this is what I do. Okay. So I look at it for 19 years. Okay. And basically, we're here, right? And then you basically January. January. Okay. 12 out of that. But if you go to February, it's more. That's why they did it. Yeah, it's still statistically. I don't know if I like that. 13 out of 18. 15 years. Yeah, it's off of 15 years. You can see that, right? That's why. So this is what I do with. I play around here, right? Nonstop. 19. Yeah. 10 out of 15. Anyways, that's how you do it. Okay, so percentage new highs down here. Let's see if this holds and starts to bounce. We may get a little bit steeper, and that may be into the last week of December, right? So same thing, pull back, right? This is SPY. IWM, pull back. Not as severe. Inside a buy sell. Look what happened here, friends. So, and it doesn't have to be much of a pullback, just so you know. This is a conundrum we have going on here. Record high amount of short and medium term risk. Well, record in the sense, it doesn't go back a long way, but does go back to 2008. So this only happened 4 other times. What does that mean? Well, you can see here statistically, 1 month out, okay, but the meaningfulness happens a year out, but it's only 67%. So this is not actionable for me right now. So this goes back to 2004. That's why I'm saying a lot of this stuff looks like the dot-com bubble on some of these things. And you can see here statistically, if you look at it from this combined short and medium is greater than 16, right? You have more points and it's a stronger rally. Yeah, okay. Basically reset China, India still strong, Argentina, Mexico, right? Germany. Sweden. So yesterday, a lot of things reset. Remember how this was seriously red, right? Like really red. So we did what we needed to do in terms of the reset. Like I say, it doesn't take much, especially on the front end. And remember how everything was rosy, deep rosy, all the thing, 10, 50, you can see how everything's resettled itself, right? And you can see here, Hang Seng, Nifty 50, obviously extended, but what are the rules? You don't pick a top in a bull market, okay? So here's the muscle, sloppy, choppy, 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 and then you get, more strength coming in. S&P, sloppy, sloppy, choppy, 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 choppy. And that's what we're seeing, right? Up one day, down one day, up one day, down one day. The Dow is a little bit stronger. And then you can see here, the NASDAQ starts to pick up. We have these little yanks coming in. So today's the 6th, and this is non-farm. Well, this is Thursday, but you can see a little bit of sloppy, choppy, choppy. And then we start to get that tailwind coming in, which is notable and important, right? Okay, let's get going here. Got to have a little fun with Bitcoin today. And I want to show you this because this is where, right, so front end, right, back end. Okay, the yield curve is actually inverting, not steepening. So I'm just telling you right now, the yield curve is inverting, not steepening. Okay, and you can see it canted up, but everybody's down, down, down still. Okay, and then you can see a little bit of wiggle down. 30-year, I'm really furious about this 2.27, but this is anybody in the mortgage business making good money. 2.5 coming down, right? The inversion. Okay, so what's the inversion happening, right? From here to here. Okay, I'm just telling 5-10. Okay, so just be careful with your thought process here. Okay, and obviously that is a headwind if we start to get that inversion happening again. We're at the upper quadrant, right? I mean, seriously, this is a weekly. Okay, this is pretty impressive barrier right now. Let's see what happens. If we break this, then clearly we're going to start coming down, right? And we're going to go from positive to negative. I'm just telling you how it is. Okay. So here's the 10-year, 115.11. It's the pivot, the upside. We'll see. This is weekly, but regardless, we'll see how it plays out. And then we got this. We got a lot of resistance clearly. This double bottom right here. It's 115.22. Okay. So that's the next key pivot on the 10-year we have to look at. And you can see here with the yield, same thing, right? So you got this right there, 5. And then we have on the downside here. Let's see what this looks like on the fib side. Well, we already have that, but I want to look at this rally here. On the extension. So that actually, believe it or not, matches up here. Kind of interesting. So this pivot right here, 23.6. Okay, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know. Here's the 1030 once again. Okay, we're now coming down. Just saying. So 3-month, 10-year. Look at the inversion here, friends. This is the month. Look at this. Okay, just saying. So whoever's the front end is not rallying to the degree that the 1030, right? I keep saying this, it's the 10-year. But we're getting steepening of this inversion coming. This was last month, minus 0.51. Now we're down to minus 1.24. Okay. So it's the spread that you have to focus on. I'm just talking out loud. China, Germany continues to come down. This is beautiful. This is why I'm saying, Peter DePaul, you're going to see money being repatriated, and that's going to be a continuation theme for 2024. You can believe me or you don't have to believe me. Okay, but right now, I've been right for months. Okay. Overseas entities will repatriate because of quantitative easing with their interest rates abating and basically putting their money into their own economy, their own currency, et cetera, et cetera. Now, part of that is necessity. They have to do this, right? Like I say, if you have a central bank who's, because of quantitative easing, seriously red for the year, well, you're not going to sell your own assets. But I also think we're seeing, because of BRICS, don't forget these sovereign wealth funds. There's a lot of money overseas that will be repatriated. BRICS. The more and more the Middle Eastern countries get involved with BRICS, the more and more you'll see them taking money out. Now, that's not, venture capital is totally different narrative, but, I'm just saying. Dollar, but looks like it wants to bounce. Chinese yuan, they rebuffed it. Cryptos. Gonna have a little fun today, friends. This has been a monster trade for me, if anyone followed me on this. I mean, and we got into this really early, right? I mean, really early. I mean, our GBTC, okay, when I shouted it up, over 70% on this trade, really early, okay? And I had gotten into it earlier and I sold it, then I bought it back, and this is the buyback that I did. And that's my average because I did a buyback in it. All right? Bitcoin gold, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Look at this. All right. Now, if you look at this potential here, let's just go from here to here. And you go here to here. 63% potential outperformance, but I suspect it's probably going to be higher than that. So why do I do this? Because I want to give you the best bang for your your money, right? It has more to go. Bitcoin crude, look at this beautiful rounding. Look at this, just beautiful, right? I shout this out. And Bitcoin, Ethereum. Okay, we're at the breakout point. Let's see if it holds and sustains. If it does, then Bitcoin should outperform Ethereum by 57%. This is just technicals 101. Okay. The longer we stay up here, flag out monthly. Beautiful, right? Commodities, let's take a peek. Gold is up, silver is up, palladium, platinum, copper up. All right, natty gas is up, crude is down. Watch this natty gas. I think we're trying to create a meaningful bottom here. Okay, so you know, that's what I'm thinking right now. Anyways. Twins, but sorry, if you are in China, you in Russia, you're in the Middle East, those wealth funds, you don't buy US. Okay, sorry. Sorry. This is where being a globalist matters. Okay, I'm just saying. I don't disagree, but that's why I accept your analysis. I accept your analysis. Okay. But if you're China, Russia, Middle East, what are you buying? You're buying gold and you're buying Bitcoin. I'm just saying. Just saying. Sorry, look, then who's selling? Who's the sovereign entity, the wealth fund that's selling, that's consistently sells? Okay, that puts, well, it doesn't matter. Look, he and I disagree on this, right? And that's okay. But if you're in Bitcoin with me, dude, you're up a lot. More than you would be in US equity. Just saying. Just saying. If you're in gold with me, you're up a lot, more than you would be in, because this is what they're doing. This is the path forward for these guys, right? It's not, there's a reason why they're buying gold, they're buying cryptos, right? And they're selling US assets to buy these things. Zinc, nickel, copper, everything up. I love it because he and I really disagree on things. And especially as a globalist, he and I really disagree on a lot of stuff. Okay. What about my India trade? For me, it's the best bang for the buck. DBC, interesting, right? Natty gas. I'm watching this carefully.
Alrighty, Beth, ready to pop on whatever here. But finish that thought, please.
No, well, it's okay.
Alrighty, guys, what's going on? Let me just pop up the screen share. We'll get right into it. So if you guys are new to chat and haven't done so, make sure to check out that Discord link that we did send you via email. Click on that link. You're going to pop in a chat. So look something a little bit like this. First area to go to when you guys do come in, click on that disclaimer section, give it a read, as well as go into the new to chat information section. Scroll to the very, very top. Top of the section, you'll link to the disclaimer as well as this bolded risk reward section. Super important to understand both in regards to risk reward, guys. Most important ratio in trading. So definitely worth checking out that in that regard. Continue to scroll down. We have summary of how this chat works, breaks down all the channels work on the left-hand side. So you can probably navigate the chat throughout the day. It's important so you know where to be looking. Continue to scroll down. We have the how to read alerts on the option equity side, breaking down how to read alerts on both sides. Pretty straightforward in that regard. Below that, we have the options rules that we like to use Monday to Thursday in regards to controlling risk, scaling in, scaling out, trading different price contracts, etc., etc. Below that, SPX rules that we use every single day. Continue to scroll down, and with small account, less than 10K, breaking down. If you do have a smaller account, less than 10K, some rules, information, discipline you can put in place. You can better manage your account in that regard. How to pick ideas from an options or equity perspective below that. And lastly, high conviction small account trades posted in that area when they do make sense. All right, let's take a look what we got going on today, guys. A couple different things. Pre-market tickers on watch. Tesla, MDB, CAR, PHVS, S, and MLGO. So Tesla gapping up at sympathy of the market. MDB gapping up on earnings. CAR, Avis Budget Group announced a special dividend of $10 per share. PHVS announces positive top line phase 2 data from Chapter 1 study of I can't even say it, for the treatment of HAE attacks. S gapping up on earnings. MLGO announced plans to establish practice base to train graduate students for university, and that's gapping up there. So let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. Let's just quickly load this up. Get ready to do it. There we go. Oh, didn't pop up yet. All right, one sec. Okay, there we go. So first two we're gonna be looking at, guys, got Tesla and Google. Let's have a rip through these charts. All right, so it looks like to me, Tesla wants to continue to push up. Pivot to the upside today. 243.78 levels able to hold. 247.37. So 247.48 to 252.81. Unable to hold. We look for pullback towards 238.52 to 235.03 on the downside. Going to be leaning bullish. Looking for a continuation push higher if that pivot point can hold. That is Tesla. Let's take a look at I'll post this. Oh, there it is. MDB. Oh, that's whatever. Yeah, that's weird. Clearly down. So how about MDB gapping down on earnings? All right. Four 13.43 pivot levels able to hold 418.81 to 424.19. Unable to hold. We look for a pullback towards 408.90 to 404.79 on the downside. Going to be leaning on the bullish neutral side today if that pivot point is able to hold. So if we can get back above this 413.43, we should be able to push there, in my opinion. That's Tesla. That is MDB. All right, let's take a look at the next two guys. We have CAR and PHVS. So CAR with the special cash dividend. Probably expect this to come in a little bit, but let's see here. Pivot to the upside today, 192.77. Levels able to hold 197.08, 201.67. Unable to hold 189.65 to 186.16 on the downside. Going to be leaning bearish. Looking for this to come in if that pivot point is unable to hold. That's CAR. Let's take a look at PHVS. 28.55. Okay. All right, 28.92 pivot level holds 30.29 to 32.58. Unable to hold 27.51, 26.14 on the downside. Going to be leading bullish. Looking for a continuation push higher if that pivot point is able to hold. That is CAR. That is PHVS. Next two guys, S and MLGO. So 22.39 pivot level holds 24.89 to 26.22. Unable to hold 22.04, 20.36 downside leaning bullish. Looking for a continuation push to the upside today if that pivot point is able to hold. On S, let's take a look at MLGO. All right, 472 pivot level holds, 504 to 539, unable to hold. We look for a pullback towards 434 to 401, downside leaning bullish neutral. All right, let's take a look at the spine of the fang here. Okay, got it. Try to get that weekly resistance level there. Okay, so pivot to the upside today, guys, on the SPY. We have the 458.29 levels able to hold. We got room towards 459.64, 462.04. Unable to hold. We look for a pullback towards 456.55 into that 454.98 downside leaning bullish neutral there. Looking for a continuation push higher. All right, Apple pivot to the upside today, 193.11 level is able to hold 194.52. If that level breaks, we got room into the 196.62, unable to hold 191.30 to 189.37, downside leaning bullish on that. Let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon 147.52 pivot level holds. Room towards 148.55 to 149.51. Unable to hold. We look for pullback towards 146.29 to 145.12, downside leaning bullish. Let's take a look at Netflix. Netflix 460.03 pivot level holds 467.23, 476.97. Unable to hold 453.87 to 445.11, downside leaning bullish and neutral there. Looks like we can continue to bounce on that. Netflix actually looks quite good off the lows. Let's take a look at Meta. Well, 318.04 pivot level holds 321.97 to 325.76. Unable to hold, we look for a pullback into the 316.34 on the downside to 330 to 313.49, meaning bullish neutral there. So again, room to bounce off the lows. And again, I said this yesterday, but I think, today's, the big thing is going to be whether or not these mega caps get continuation. If they do, I would expect them to lead. Watch the semiconductors as well. I think it's kind of the same narrative as yesterday. It's just a matter of, do we get the continuation? If we get the continuation, then, we get some nice follow through. If we don't, then obviously that's going to change the way the market's going to trade quite a bit. Probably roll over, but time will tell. Out the gate. Pivot, Google, 132.16 level holds 132.98 to 134.78, unable to hold 139.65 to 129.23. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead pass it over to South Beach, guys, while I type up the pre-market action plan, and then we'll do a quick little recap before the open. South Beach, if you're ready, she's all yours for now, my friend.
Hey guys, okay. Nice gap up in the futures and all. Let's see, technicals are going to be good like they've been. No violation of the moving averages, support on the 10, 17, everything's perfect. Just riding that curve right up, following those moving averages nicely on the daily. So nice EMA support on both that and the weekly. And it looks really good. Okay, no change in that. Qs are going to be the same. We had a little bit of, the moving averages, the slope is definitely turning neutral on the daily, but, after today, it could pop right back up. No violation in the weekly, and that's really my guiding force. And they did break higher than the previous high back in whatever it was, April or so. So this looks like they're going to march to the 400 level to me on the Qs. I think it looks really good. The Russell's kind of my favorite at the moment. I think it has the most upside. Nice EMA support in the daily, the weekly as well. I know it, came in a little bit yesterday, but it held the 50-week, and it looks really good there as well. And last but not least, you have the transports, which were looking kind of shitty for a while, and huge turnaround there. On the weekly, it's holding gains nicely, even on, crappy days. And the weekly has nice EMA support, and the 10's going through the 17 on the weekly, which is a bullish sign. So I think technically the market sets up really well. And that's my take on that. Then if you go to the bond market, which has been cascading lower effectively. I mean, the 10-year's gone from what, 5 to 4.14. That's just a giant move, guys. And hold on. I see it. Okay. So that's moved, big time. Okay, so I mean, I don't think I've seen a move that much this fast in quite a while, if ever. All right, and the 2 years gone from what, 511 to 458, which is additionally a big move for the front end of the curve. So by and large, huge move in the bond market, and that huge move, okay, is making the risk assets a lot more desirable, and that's what's really going on here. So 210 spread is what, 42. So that's kind of in line-ish of what we've seen, and that's that. Okay, in London, yields have gone a little lower, especially on the long end of the curve. They're down about what today, the 396 on their 10-year. I don't know what their high was. It looks like 477. So another giant move in their bond market. Germany, same kind of thing. Okay, so that's really the bond market effectively. Commodities, what we've seen is a cascade lower in oil prices, right? Look, down another 30 today, $1.30. So we're at 71. We'll see if it can hold 70, but it's a far cry from that 80 resistance level that we've been using as a peg. And natural gas, we've been using 3. That thing can't get out of its own way either. So you have lower bond prices, lower commodity prices, okay, higher exposure to risk assets. That's effectively what we're seeing, okay? Gold has been really good, well received because probably a weak dollar, right? So that one's been strong, and it probably continues to be strong as the dollar continues to weaken, in my guess. Copper's in a trading range, and these agricultural commodities are by and large on the quiet side. Currency-wise, we've seen dollar weakness in the last, few weeks. That continues today. Dollar weak against North America, down against the yen. Flat against China, 7.15, but that economy's in the shit house. We know that. Okay, and the euro and the pound, they're back to previous levels. Okay, so even though the dollar's not so great, it might be the best house in a crappy neighborhood, right? The euro's back to 107, pound's back to 125. Crypto-wise, this is where we're seeing the bulk of the action that reflective of a crappy dollar, right? Bitcoin's up 0.81. Let's see, Ethereum's flat and Solana's up 4% at 63.50. That might be a high. No, not quite. And I mean high, in the last year, not high all time. Okay, and that brings us to foreign markets. Let's see what we got there. Okay, so the FTSE is up 0.4, the DAX is up 0.6. Nikkei is up 2%. China's basically flat, and Hong Kong's up 0.75%. Okay, so there's your backdrop. All right, that brings us to the banks and the Fed. Fed is in a quiet period, right? Right now, the odds of them raising rates in the next meeting is zero. 100% odds that there's going to be no change. Okay. And we got China and Russia. We'll talk about those in a minute. Crypto, we discussed. Mr. Market yesterday. It was a pretty dull day yesterday. I mean, the way I see it, way I saw it, I was very inactive. FANG was good. Cybersecurity stocks were good. HMOs were good. On the negative side, we had big oil and gas for a change on the negatives. Retail was kind of soft. Casinos have been a little bit on the softer side. Material stocks were soft. And hospital stocks were soft. Okay, so that was yesterday. All right, so these rate cut bets are filtering through everybody's economy. Right here, they're saying what? The first rate cut may be in, I don't know, Rick Reeder was saying May. All right, in Europe, they're betting on 6 quarter-point rate cuts next year. That's what's priced in for 24. In London, I think they're pricing in, according to Bloomberg, 3 rate cuts starting in June. So a lot of rate cuts getting priced into the marketplace. We'll see if that takes hold, but these prices are predicated in some extent of, the Fed's globally easing. Okay. Today we have another meeting with the banks. They're meeting with this Senate Banking Committee, and they're trying to make their case that the new Fed rules are too aggressive and they shouldn't be implemented in full. Goldman speaking, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, to name a few. And basically they're saying that the Fed's call for a 20% increase in cash on hand, capital cushion, is onerous, okay, and it creates higher rates, and it prevents or retards, lending ability. So they have all this competition springing up through these third parties who are doing lending now, because the banks are under this, new rules and regs and all this other stuff. I mean, when you take a loan out from a bank, basically they take out the Fed spreadsheet, and they fill in the blanks, and then there's a certain amount they're allowed to lend you. There's no kind of leeway, no kind of, oh, I know this customer bullshit. That doesn't exist anymore. It's strictly by the numbers. And that's what we have, and that's their argument. All right, NVIDIA is making a claim this morning that they have real competition from Huawei in China, from Intel, and now a growing number of startups. I don't really believe that, but we'll see. Mortgage refis were up, believe it or not, 14% week over week. And mortgage applications fell. I would have thought it would be kind of sort of the opposite. With mortgage rates going from 7.37 to 7.15, I wouldn't have expected mortgage applications to fall. But those are the numbers, okay? Probably change as we go forward. Putin is making a trip to the Middle East. He rarely leaves Russia because he's wanted for war crimes. So he's going to countries that don't see it that way. So he's going to meet with Saudi Arabia and the UAE for bilateral cooperation and talks regarding the Mideast war. They're not going to talk about the Ukraine war. They're going to talk about the Middle East war, which I find a little ironic since he started the Middle East war, if you study the numbers in the news. Putin is also meeting with the president of Iran on Thursday in Moscow. Israel-Hamas war, no real changes there overnight. So the beat goes on in that corner of the world. Economists are saying this morning that many of them are looking for a soft landing. I don't think it really matters what the landing is. I think the more important thing is how interest rates behave. I think the economy looks fine. It doesn't look like the people are tapped out and the job market's fairly healthy. So landing schmanding, I'm not paying attention to it. Broadband warning. So Charter yesterday basically said that they could have internet subscribers. They could lose internet subscribers in the coming quarter, and the stock got drubbed on that. And Comcast basically said they lost 18,000 internet subscribers in the last quarter. So we're seeing these guys being attacked on two fronts, right? Streaming. And now they're ace in the hole, internet subscribers, where they completely rip you off, waning there. So I would stay away from these stocks. So that's my thinking on that one. What other business do they have? That's their business, the internet provision business, not so much TV anymore. So that's a big thing. Nikki Haley is now in second place among Republican presidential candidates, but she still trails Trump by a fair amount, a lot actually, but she's getting tons of money. I don't know if money can change it, but she's being backed by a lot of Republicans that, with Dell, the Copley people, Jamie Dimon is backing her, a bunch of people. So we'll see how that plays out. I doubt she gets the nomination, but it is, I wouldn't say it's early, but it is possible, I guess. Anyway, individual names, we had earnings. These are the ones that came in good. Letter S, Centennial, Ollie's Basement, Campbell's Pork and Beans, LOVE, Corn Ferry, Toll, PHR, Stitch Fix, and POLW. NBIX received breakthrough therapy designation from the FDA. DFS and COF got an upgrade by who was it? Bank of America. I did take DFS overnight, which I told you guys it was my favorite name. Builders got a positive upgrade from Benchmark, and I think it was B. Riley. GBNH raised money in debt financing, so it's up on that. MLGO had some positive PR as well, as did ZVSA, which is running, and MINM. CAR, a special $10 dividend. MA, $11 billion buyback. CMDA, they are going to do $180 million in revenue. So the stock's up on this new revenue source. PHVS had positive phase 2 data. And STRL has a $200 million buyback. On the short side, this ASAN, where the CEO bought this stock hand over fist, missed. Stock's down on that. Actually, the numbers wasn't bad, but they gave a warning for next quarter. Box missed, MDB, Brown Forman, Yext, BTI on guidance, and OOM. Shop. They had a analyst meeting, and I'm sorry, they had their analyst meeting, and did not go so well. So the stock's down a little bit on that. PYPL was downgraded by Bank of America, as was TOST. There's a bunch of secondaries this morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. FLNC, CRDO are down, and EYPT did raise money. I think it was that one. No, they raised money at 17 stocks above the price already. PHVS raised money. They did the stock closed at 20. They did an offering at $24. And they had positive data, and the stock's ripping. So double whammy on that one. So you got your stock, and then you got good news to go along with it. All right, SN is also above the price, another secondary there. So when you come in and you see secondaries trading above the price of the deal, that tells you the market's in pretty good shape. I mean, that's what I use as one of my indicators. Okay, FIVN not pursuing a sale was approached. And Citibank, or Shitty Bank, is doing it again. They say they gave they're speaking at a Goldman conference, and they said their full year revenues will be at the low end of expectations. This stock is just a piece of shit. Then you had international trade numbers, which came in. They were kind of in line-ish, but the thing that got people going is this unit of labor cost was supposed to be down 0.9 and then down 1.2%. And productivity and cost was up 5.2 versus 4.9. So that's what got the futures to this higher level that it was at. It was trading a lot, like 12 or 7, and somewhere between 7 and 10 or 12, and they just ran to 20. So I think it had a lot to do with that. What else do we have? We had research. Rocket was a negative call. PayPal and Toast, I told you, were downgraded. Plug goes to a sell at Morgan Stanley. Plug getting plugged. Asan was downgraded. And that's it on the short side that I felt. RRC was downgraded to sell by JP Morgan. What else don't they like? That's about it. On the long side, we had Shaq out of Raymond James, GutLab, GTLB out of Goldman. I told you about Doofus and COF out of Bank of America. Is there anything else? Charter, Benchmark still likes it. I wouldn't touch it. MDB, guys like this stock even with the softer earnings. 2 or 3 guys commented on that. Citibank maintains their 230 target in Apple. I think things are going well. And that's really it on the research. As far as the market's concerned, I mean, I'm a little suspicious on these oil stocks, point of least resistance down, but pretty much everything else, point of least resistance is up. And I think, it looks to me like maybe these FANG stocks are out of the woods. The sell is done. We'll see how they react this morning. But with these lower rates, you got to like companies with, higher PEs, right? I think. So I think tech is in pretty good shape. And the lower rates obviously are good for the home builders. And you had good numbers in tolls, so that could drag that group a little bit higher also. Okay, so that's my thinking on the stuff. And I'm going to pass the baton over to Spartan, and let's have a good day, guys. Spartan, it's all yours, my man.
Thank you, South Beach. Morning, guys. What's up? What's going on? So if you guys are new to chat, have you done so, make sure to click on that Discord link. That's email too. You're going to pop in a chat. It's going to look something a little bit like this. Whoa, where you go? A little bit like this. First, here you go to when you guys do come in, click on this disclaimer section, give that a read, as well as go to the new to chat information section, scroll to the very, very top. Top of the section, you got a link to the disclaimer as well as this bolded risk reward section. Super important to understand both in regards to risk reward, guys. Most important ratio in trading. So definitely worth checking out in that regard. Continue to scroll down. We have the summary of how this chat works, breaks down all the channels work on the left-hand side. So you can probably navigate the chat throughout the day. Important so you know where to be looking. Continue to scroll down. We have the how to read alerts on the options and equity side, breaking down how to read alerts on both sides. Pretty straightforward in that regard. Below that, options rules that we use Monday to Thursday in regards to controlling risk, scaling in, scaling out, trading different price contracts, et cetera, et cetera. Continue to scroll down with these SPX rules as well. Below this, any with a small account, less than 10K, break it down. If you do have a smaller account, less than 10K, some rules, information, discipline you could put in place so you could better manage your account. And then lastly, how to pick ideas from an options or equity perspective when they do make sense. All right, let's take a look what we got going on today, guys. A couple different things. Pre-market tickers on watch. Everything's posted there. So if you guys are watching the YouTube stream, you can simply just pause it, read it. There's the charts. There's the action plan right there, right there. And you can see all the other charts posted, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so Tesla, MDB, CAR, P, HVS, S, MLGO. So Tesla gapping up in sympathy with the market, MDB gapping down on earnings, CAR, AVS budget announces special dividend for $10 per share. PHVS announces positive top line phase 2 data from chapter 1 study of something for treatment of HEA tax. S gapping up on earnings, MLGO, Micro Aljo Inc. announces plans to establish a practice base to train graduate students for the university. Let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. First two we're going to be looking at today, guys, Tesla and MDB. So let's have a look at that. So Tesla and MDB, Tesla, 243.78 pivot level holds 247.48 to 252.81. Unable to hold, we look for pullback towards 238.52 to 235.03. Downside leaning bullish neutral. Looking for a continuation push higher. MDB, 413.43 pivot level holds 418.81 to 424.19. Unable to hold 408.09 to 404.79. Downside leaning bullish neutral only if that pivot point's able to hold as well. Let's take a look at the next two card PHES. CAR 192.77 pivot level holds 197.08 to 201.67. Unable to hold 189.65 to 186.16. Downside leaning bullish neutral. PHVS 28.92 pivot level holds 30.29 to 32.58. Unable to hold 27.51 to 26.14. Downside leaning bullish only if that pivot can be reclaimed. S and MLGO. S guys pivot to the upside today. 23.39. Level holds 24.89, 26.22, unable to hold 22.04 to 20.36, downside leaning bullish. MLGO 472 pivot, level holds 5.04, 5.39, unable to hold 4.34 to 4.01 downside. And last but not least, let's take a look at the SPY and the FANG, my friends. And we'll type that SPY out as we usually do. $458.29. Pivot to the upside today, in my opinion. Level holds from higher into the 459.64 resistance breaks. We see the 462.04 tested. Pivot unable to hold. Room lower into the 456.55 support breaks. We see the 454.98 tested, leaning bullish neutral, my opinion. Okay, so that's that. Let's take a look at the rest of the thing here. All right, that's that. Okay. Apple Pivot to the upside today, guys, is gonna be let's just take a look. Let's go to this. 193.11 level holds 194.52 to 196.62, unable to hold 191.30 to 189.37, downside leaning bullish neutral there. Amazon pivot 147.52 level holds 148.55 to 149.51, unable to hold 146.29 to 145.12, downside leaning bullish neutral there. Netflix pivot 460.01 level holds 467.23 to 476.97, unable to hold 453.87 to 445.11, downside. Meta pivot to the upside today, 318.04 level holds 321.97 to 325.76. Unable to hold 315.34 to 313.49. Downside leaning bullish neutral. And last but not least, guys, let's take a look at Google. 132.16 level holds 132.98 to 134.78. Unable to hold 136.65 to 129.23. Leaning bullish neutral there. VIX, VIX. So we got this SERA pushing to the upside here, guys, on the side. So just popping it up. All right, 1279 pivot level holds 1322, 1373, unable to hold 1240 downside QQQs. Pivot to the upside today, 388.31 level holds 391.02 to 394.21, unable to hold 386.30 to 384.41 downside. And last but not least, guys, I'm leaning bullshit draw. Last but not least, SPX. Oops. SPX 45.71 pivot level holds, just room towards 45.86 to 46.01, unable to hold 45.57 to 45.36 downside. Leaning bullish drill. So, guys, that's a SPY, that's a FANG. Those are the individual names that we're looking at today. Going to go ahead not pass it. I'm going to go ahead close down the YouTube stream. Thanks for popping in, guys. We do this every single Wednesday. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys in a little bit. If you want to come trade